Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm excited today to chat with Nova for Voices of the Embodied Leader. Nova is a human design expert, and she also helps people and walks through journeys with people who are navigating this space through somatic understanding. And so, Nova, thank you for being here. Welcome. I'm delighted to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here, Sheena. I've just loved connecting with you and to get to come be a part of this and do this with you and for it to be beneficial to other people. I'm like a yes to all of that.
Thank you. That means so much to me. I really am honored. I really want to kick this conversation off with one of the things that you said in response to those questions that I sent your way. And we want to keep the chat casual, but we're here to really share where we came from and how we got to where we are and talk about what it means to become that next version of ourselves as we take this path of embodied leadership. And one of the questions you responded with that the best way for you to lead, or no, sorry, the response was that being a leader or leadership actually was something quite different than what you had originally believed or understood about leadership. And so I was wondering if we could just start there and talk about what that means for you and how it shows up.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And my story starts with that 20 something years ago. And somebody was asking me what I was going to school for. And I said that I wasn't quite sure. I was interested in psychology and spirituality. And there's kind of listing off the different majors that one could have or topics or whatever. And he was like, "Oh, so you're going to school to be a guru?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like I could feel there was a crazy truth in it of coming, like I was learning, I was going to school for psychology because I was doing my own inner work. That was my whole goal was I wanted to do my work and I wanted to show up and help other people with theirs. And and then after that, it was like I kept having these times when I was like, I'm not ready to be some kind of like leader or somebody for people to look at or whatever because I'm not perfect yet.
Mm.
And I kept trying to be perfect enough that I could feel comfortable in that role. And I was looking around at how other people were leading and I was like, I'm not made for that. That's not my thing. Like maybe I'm not a leader, etc. And at some point, a dozen years ago, literally, I had this realization that maybe the way that I lead is by being imperfect and being so open about it and allowing myself to be it that it gave other people permission to just be themselves also. Not have to be perfect, not have to do everything right, but to be just authentically them, who they are. That was enough. And yeah, and then to find myself in this role essentially where I'm just being me and people are reaching out and they're like, thank you so much for doing that. Like that it does give them permission to be more them too. There's like a sense of having arrived in it, but that it was not what I thought it was. It was never going to be something where it was like I was appointed some station on a throne. It was nothing like that. It was like just being me in the world with people and paving new paths, cutting through the debris and like forging new paths of accepting authenticity, of pushing edges of accepting myself and loving myself and being myself. That then I was like, hey guys, look over here. There's this place over here where we can do this and this way that we could do this. And that was what leadership was. Yeah. I've had so many moments, really pivotal moments where leadership has come back around like this theme and this understanding and revisiting what it is. And so when I read that on the questionnaire that you sent, right? When I read that and I was just like, wow, I can see how that is, yeah, where I'm at right now with it.
Yeah, it sounds like you've definitely come a long way in terms of how you expressed yourself or tried to
Mhm.
express yourself. And I can
Yeah.
deeply resonate with that that desire to be perfect or show up perfect in
Mm.
order to claim that role. Just like you, it took years of back and forth to really step in and own it, unveil a new layer. And I know that for me, and I wonder if this is true for you and how you might, if you can, touch on the moment where, because for me, after I don't want to say pretending or faking, but really trying to like hold this vision of a leader that I
Mm.
thought, and then choosing to then be like, "Wait a minute, this is not aligned. This is not my truth. How can I lead from this place when it's not really me?" And then you have to like it almost feels in the moment like you gotta backpedal. It's not a
Mhm.
backpedal, but you have to choose to then say, "Wait a minute, every way I've been sharing myself is not authentic and it's not real." And in order for me to embody what it is that I now know to be true, which is I wanna lead from who I am. Like, can you speak about that edge a little bit and what that was like for you to just decide to choose to make that decision and start sharing yourself in a new way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing for me is just who I am as a person, and maybe based on things like being diagnosed autistic and things like that. I'm naturally an oversharer in general. I'm like an open book and I just want to say all the things. And I also, it's in my human design. I have collective circuitry. It's all about just like sharing and sharing and sharing and more sharing. And so just putting everything out there helps move stuff for me so that I'm then available for the next insight to come in. And I think it was witnessing myself have that experience helped me see that is what I'm here for. And that is the way is I'm sharing stuff and I'm noticing, ooh, I shared that thing and it's actually this thing. Like I made a mistake or I tried something that didn't work and now I found what does, whatever. And knowing that I was doing that publicly, it was just like, oh, maybe that is what I'm here for is to do that because it can be I had a lot of shame and a lot of fear around being seen publicly wrong, being wrong publicly. And then I realized, oh, I've been doing that my whole life because I just put everything out there and I just naturally am going to get some stuff wrong. And so it was just like finding out that's what I was already doing. One of the things I love about human design is this understanding of the difference between the mind and the body. So the mind is what we're aware of, what we think, the stories that we have about things, et cetera, right? Like this kind of conscious way of navigating the world, thinking about things. And then the body is just, it has its own experience, its own journey. And so in human design, it's really about coming back into the body and operating, letting the body be the vehicle that drives us through life and the mind be the passenger that's observing. But it is very common in this world for us to get really caught up in the mind stories. And so it was like the mind would see something and be like, oh, this is going to be that. And it would like, I'd be trying to take myself on that journey and then it would be like, wait, body's not going that way. And then it's just, oh, there's this whole other thing. And so then I would just be following that path. And so it was like a lot of my journey has been my mind kind of getting ahead of myself, getting excited about something, trying to run with that, and then being like, oh, wait, come back to body. And then taking that path. And then the body's revealing over time, like what is. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
That's my best way to describe that
Yeah, no,
experience
it
for me. It's
that's
like returning.
absolutely, that's
Yeah.
just perfect, and I can relate. I think we both have that 3 line,
Mm.
and so I can relate to the making mistakes or failing over and over again only to, like, finally find what works, I hope.
Yeah.
So that has been, like, a big part of my life too, and that there is an edge there of w wanting to put yourself out there and share. I'm a big sharer too, like, I'm like, "Heart on my sleeve, girl," like, blah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And there's this edge and this, like, space where it's like, that is powerful, you to come out, to be authentic, even if you say the wrong thing or you do the wrong thing or you come across the wrong way. The wrong being
Yeah.
objective, because 'cause
Right.
you're right in that that inspires other people to be honest with themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so I shared with you I had a little idea, and I think now would be a really cool time for us to do this. It's like off the cuff, but I feel like it will be super empowering for the viewers. And I feel like you and so like I said, I chatted with another human design manifester. So Nova here is a human design manifester, just like I am. And so I felt like this would be a great little kind of like game for us to play because a big part of our work here is deconditioning and getting back to ourselves in order to lead. And we are born leaders, and it takes a lot for us to be able to get to the place where it does happen and it feels good and authentic. Because I think that it can happen regardless, but to have it feel good and authentic takes this owning of self and of parts of ourself that maybe we thought weren't good enough to be a leader. And so I would love to maybe just do one for one. We'll see if we can get to three a piece of truths that we have had to accept or embody about ourselves or the world in order to like fully own that next evolution of self. So I'm just throwing this on Nova, by the way. This is just I have this idea. I want to do this. I feel like it would be so fun. And I think that she would be a great person to do it with. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna get started. Obviously, I had a little bit of time to think about it, but I didn't go down the rabbit hole. I was like, okay, yeah, I can see how this would be good. So I'll start. And one truth about me that I know that you'll resonate with, and hopefully this will help inspire more to come forward, is that I the truth about me is that I need a considerable amount of rest and relaxation and peace in order for me to stay excited and continue to have the energy to do the things I want to do. And I used to push back on that truth and feel like there was something wrong with me and that I just wasn't taking care of myself. And I wasn't because I wasn't getting enough rest. I wasn't experiencing enough peace. And so that truth for me was like, yeah, now I've owned it and I don't get out of bed before 10 a.m. and I take afternoon naps if I need them. And so that was a big truth for me. It was like a hard one to own, but it has made all of the difference in my becoming. So that's a
Mm,
truth for me. Which
I
what
love
you got,
that.
girlfriend?
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like my whole world, my whole existence has been a million truths. And so sifting through for some potent ones. Let's see. So what's really alive for me right now is that I thought that finding what works was more of the detailed stuff than it actually is. So let me tell you what I mean by that. So I'm a 1-3 profile. Third line is the experimenter, tries the things that don't work before it finds what does. And I thought what that meant was that, for example, learning how to do marketing, right, is like my ideal way of or example of this. That it was like finding the formula of what to write, what works and what doesn't, and what I say, how I say it, what order I say it in, et cetera, et cetera. And it turns out that the experiment actually, if I step back from that, it's really just how I'm approaching saying anything. It's coming back into how I feel in me when I'm doing things. I was so like in there, in the like details and I was fine tuning all of these specifics. And then it was like, it was almost like a breath of fresh air to step back and be like, "Oh my gosh, it doesn't matter what I say or how I say it or whatever, what order I say it in, all of that stuff doesn't matter. It's like how I feel when I'm doing it that is everything." And so being able to stay light and playful and easy and curious and soft and flexible and open to whatever the thing may be, whatever results may happen, whatever the thing is, actually ended up being, yeah, the way that I approach it has been more important than the actual thing itself. And that's just marketing, but all of life, like how I approach things makes or breaks everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, I call that our come from energy. Like, where are we
Mhm.
coming from? Where are we rising from? Where are we, like, moving with this from? It's like, doesn't matter
Yeah.
that we're moving, it doesn't matter where we're going, but where are we
Yes.
coming from? Oh,
Yeah. That is a really great description of it. Man.
and that sometimes takes, "Oh, today's not the day to do this," even though I thought that I had to or it needed to be done. I can't access that come from energy, and so I have to choose not to do it in this moment and trust in
Oh,
one. That's a tough one.
yeah. Yeah.
Let me see if I can strum up another truth. I'm liking this. I feel like it's a good. So, a big one for me was, yeah, it was accepting that I really needed to separate myself from my family. Like, not my
Mhm.
husband and children, but my
Family of
family.
origin.
I showed up for them as the leader of the house, the oldest daughter. Man, everything that I did for many years revolved, even if I didn't know it, subconsciously revolved around making sure that these people were safe and happy and content. And I didn't even know that how important that truth was, like that truth that I needed to create actual space, like physical space until we moved here to the
Mm,
island. And it took a couple years for me to realize, oh my gosh, I've never experienced this kind of peace before. I've never
mhm,
experienced this amount of safety felt in my
mm,
body before. And then coming to recognize, oh my gosh, that's because I needed that distance and I love them all. But I was enmeshed deeply and I had to separate from that. And the truth is that I feel better because of it. That I
mhm.
feel better and I feel better in my body and more confident and more safe. And that was a hard one. Like, even just to say it, I got some tingles and they're like, girl, you said it." Like, yeah, that is the truth that I needed that physical distance. And it's definitely served me in owning the legacy that I want to build. I didn't come from legacy family. I came from struggle family, from
Yeah.
not striving, not even surviving family. And that was a big truth for me. And even when we're talking about the body, I can feel my a little warm and even a little sweaty. And it's, babe, that's the truth. Let that energy
Mhm.
move.
I'm really feeling resonance with that one because I also I also carry that truth
Mm,
in me. And I'm, as you're saying it, I'm feeling into the manifestor experience, like that we have a dense, repelling aura, that we have an aura that, you know, protects us, that creates this wall. And when we're children, we, for whatever reasons, in whatever ways, really bring stuff in. We try to get stuff in and we try to be in with it. And it tries to be in with us because it's trying to like overcompensate for that aura, what it feels like as we get older. And so then when we're actually able to have that experience of and just have that space to have that protective wall, energetic wall, it's so correct for us because that's what we're designed for as manifestor women is to have that experience
mm.
with things and people that, yeah,
There's something
makes
about,
sense.
ooh, you just said that's correct for us. And something in my body was just, I just felt, yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah.
'Cause it's correct
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
us. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, that landed. I get energy is moving through me. This is a great conversation. I can feel like,
Yes.
oh my goodness. Okay,
Mm,
so do you have another truth that you
yeah. Oh, yeah. I could do this all day. I could do
yeah,
this all day.
yeah.
Okay. So what was coming up for me is that sometimes the medicine is something that other people might think is bad. Like for me, I was in this 5-year experiment with isolation and solitude. And all the literature and my social awareness is this isn't what's healthy. you're supposed to be with people. You're supposed to want to be with people, blah, blah, blah. And but I just trusted my body, just trusted what I was being drawn toward. I used to say, oh, actually, I used to say a thing, and now I'm like, what was the thing I said? It was the thing like, if you're craving something, there's medicine in it for you, right? People would look at certain things like isolation and whatnot with a certain perspective and see it in some way, but that was medicine for me. It was medicine for me. I needed to do that. And I got the medicine from it. And then experienced a sudden pivot and shift into new medicine that is the opposite of what that was. And it doesn't make that wrong. It just means that it's new medicine. And I can see really clearly now how people could have seen that with some way of understanding it as being unhealthy, because this new medicine is something so different that feels so alive and all of the things. But it was like, yeah, the medicine can be something that,
Mhm.
yeah, again, that when we let go of the mind's stories and perceptions and trying to be the boss and make the decisions, and we allow the body to just fall. Oof, I felt like that Alice in Wonderland gif where she's just like falling down the hole, just like endlessly. That's how it felt. Like I was like, when am I going to hit the bottom of this? Like I have gone so far from the world. Like how much deeper could I possibly go to get away from people? And yeah, like what I found was myself, like the essence of myself that was the least affected by other people in that isolation. Isolate all the variables, all the pieces to like really isolate who I am and what I am and how I operate without the effect of others.
Mm.
And now that I found that, now I know how to be with others in a way that works for all of us. And it's magic now. In the ways that social interaction used to drain me and exhaust me and really profoundly affect me, now it invigorates me and I thrive in it and all of that. And I didn't even know that's what I was looking for. When I was just like, okay, body, you're the driver. I'm just riding along, trying to be the best passenger I can in this vehicle. And then once we got to where we were going, I was like, oh, that's where we've been all along. That's where we were going. I get it. I get it. And yeah, and it was an incredible journey, an incredible like destination. And now we're off on a new adventure and I'm excited about it too.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, the piece of what works for me might look from the outside like it's not. Even last night, I was reminding myself of that. I stayed up a little bit too late last night, which again, too late. I don't know, maybe. So I was just hanging out. I was really excited about something I was doing and I knew I'm like, I need to like put the computer away. I need to come down a little bit and relax my body before I even try to sleep. And so I sat with some hape, which is a tobacco plant medicine that I like to use for that purpose of coming back into my body and grounding myself. And I was sitting with it and it was like almost exactly what you said. This like wave came over me because I was like, oh my God, here I am. I just stayed up too late. And now I'm gonna sit and have some happy and I'm probably gonna go drink some. And I was like, it's just another thing. Come on, Sheena, you can take care of yourself. So I'm sitting there and I get this overwhelming wave that was like, yeah, but what if this is your self-care? Like, what if this is the medicine in the moment that you need? And that it's not to like go brush your teeth and wash your face and have a glass of water and go to bed like most
Yeah.
people would assume is the best option. Yeah, and maybe I'm just here telling myself it was okay, but it is very I can resonate with that feeling of, but maybe this looks from the outside, I'm not taking care of myself, but oh, but this is where I'm receiving the yes from.
Yeah. And just, yeah, the ways that our body moves and the mind comes up with the stories about it or thinks it knows what's best, but the body the body has access to so much more information than the mind ever will. The body is plugged into the cosmos, to our real life trajectory. Like our body knows where to go and what to do. And it has way less stories than the mind about it all. Like the mind is the one that yeah, really, yeah, really has a
Talk
lot to say about it.
yeah, just talks, has so much to say.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh. I
the
had an
mind
experience. I'm like gonna share this little experience. I'm like, oh, I could talk forever about this, but and I want to give, yeah, I want to give you space to share your thing. But yeah, I had this experience, took my dogs out to the lake, and I was like so in my mind. Like my mind was just going like nonstop, just thinking about what I was doing and trying to figure out like what to do, whatever. And at the same time, I was like so in my body. And I was just like, my body's just following around and my mind is like narrating the experience. And I had this whole, it was a whole to do. I took my dogs out to the lake. Somebody had a ball, they were playing fetch with their dog. My dog decided that he was going to traverse the entire length of to get to the other side of the lake to go play catch with them and be the one to fetch their dog's ball every time they threw it. And then at some point, my mind was like, okay, I really need to go get him to stop. Like they may not like that. And I
mm,
get up and I'm making my way out there and he comes back with the ball. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to give these people their ball. So I'm like trying to wrestle the ball from the dog. And I'm like slipping in this mud and just falling flat on my ass in this mud. And I am like having complete sensory overwhelm. I'm like, yeah, complete sensory overwhelm. Hold on, I can't tell if
you're good.
somebody's trying to call me, messed up my Zoom. But I'm having complete sensory overwhelm. I'm like autistic meltdown.
We'll just wait for her to come.
So I'm trying to wrestle this ball from the dog. I'm slipping, falling in the mud, falling in the stream. I'm like sensory overload. I'm like crying. I'm having a complete autistic meltdown. I'm just like, I'm crying. I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do. I'm just like, again, I'm just like trying to get this ball from the dog, give it back to the owner, right? So anyway, so I do the thing, get the ball back to the owner, pack all the dogs up. I'm trying to hike back up the hill and I'm like, I need to sit down. I can tell right now that I need to bring my system back down before I can make decisions, drive safely, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, I sat down, brought my body down. I was so mad. I was so mad at that dog. I was like, I'm looking at him. I'm like, he's running and his lips are flapping and he's doing all the cute dog things. And I'm like, you're not even cute. I don't even like you. And I'm like, okay, that's not how I usually feel. I must be having on an emotional wave. So I'm just waiting. And I decided I'm going to sit here until he's cute again.
Oh,
That was the decision, right? And I'm like, okay, I guess that's what's happening. And I did. And it all came around fine. And I left. And so I get back home and I was reflecting on it and I was like, man, what just happened? And like my mind had all these stories. And I was like, what is my body's story? What does my body feel like just happened? And I moved around, I did some things, I felt some things. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like the body doesn't have nearly the stories that the mind does. And yeah, it was really interesting. It was really interesting to since then, that was last year, since then to just really let my body do its thing and just observe my mind more and love it. I think that people can be really hard on the mind or any parts of themselves that might be having an experience that's not the experience they want to be having. But to be able to love my mind, to love my process, which was so hard to love my mental process. Oh my gosh. I just wanted it to not be what it was forever. And now to just be like, oh man, I am having a whole process over here. Look at this beautiful process that my mind does. And it's having its thing. And sometimes it needs comfort. It just needs like a hug,
yeah, I was just
like
gonna say,
a small child that's,
I
yeah,
love
like
and accept you anyways. I love it.
yeah, yeah. Just like sometimes kids can get scared and when they just need somebody that can come in and ground them and be like, yeah, you care about that thing and you're worried about that thing. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. We've got this. Parts work, internal family systems was game changing for me when
Yeah.
it came to like my inner dialogue and my conversations with myself and coming into love of myself. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. That was a beautiful story and really does illustrate the duality of the experiences that we go through and how this often takes the lead and we believe it and we trust it and we're so tethered to it. Yet it's just,
Mhm.
it's like our whole body has all of this
Oh.
system down here. So I wonder if you could share, just because I mean, we've had having such a great conversation about the body and embodiment and what it means to like lead from this place. Could you share what it literally feels like for you to move from the mind into the body, where you're like up here
Mhm.
and it's like there's lot and you recognize, oh shit, like I'm in my head too much. It's time to come back to my body. What is that actual somatic experience like for you?
That might be the best question anybody's ever asked me in my entire life. I love this. This is really awesome. So, yeah, I can feel where it's like energy is alive in my mind when I'm in my head, right? When I'm in my mind, and my mind is it's like my brain, all the synapses are activating. It's all lit up. There's lots of things going here, there, whatever. And it's like my mind is trying to like project into the future, like what's going to happen, what to do, what's coming, all of that in the mind. And then, so I'm going to speak a little bit of human design. So in my chart, I have 6 centers defined. Okay. So there's 9 centers total. I have 6 defined. The ones that are undefined are my root, my sacral, and my G, which are like from the base up from the trunk. That pillar right in the middle is open. So it's like I let's see. So I have everything from my throat down is unconscious. Okay. So it's all like my body moving rather than like me having mental access to the process of what's happening. It's Ra talks about the tunnels versus the roads. The black stuff in your chart is like the conscious definition. It's like a road. You can see where the car is and where it's going and what it's doing and what's happening in the car. But the tunnels, the red is like the car. Sometimes we don't even see the car go in. We don't always know there's something in there. Sometimes we can feel something's happening but we don't know what's happening until it comes out. And then we're like, oh, there was a car in there and it was this thing. And this is the result. This is the thing. Right. So it's like for my throat down, it's all tunnel. Right. My head and ajna are the only ones that I have conscious definition in. I have the channel, the 6447. So like I am so in my head a lot because that's where my conscious definition is. Right. I also, in human design, am touch cognition. So cognition is your sense, right? In human design, there's the 6 different like ways that we perceive the world, experience the world, that we have a heightened way of gathering information from.
Sure.
So for me, it's touch. And what I realized is that if I can touch my body, specifically my belly, if I come down here to these open centers, to this space where I hold so much, right? Especially as a woman, my womb, like all of that, right? If I touch that with my physical hands, it drops me down. Like all the energy that was active and alive now comes down into my body. And then I'm like feeling down there. And then my body, I'm able to pick up through touching with my hands, like what is going on in my body, what it means, where it's at. Like I just have so much more information when I touch my body. I oftentimes will touch my chest, my heart. Sometimes I'll touch my shoulders and my arms, giving myself hugs. Various things that have to do with touching my body anywhere from the throat down can just really give me a lot of information about what's happening in my physical body and bring my attention back down there. And then it just it's almost like a drop down, like an exhale,
Yeah.
right down here exists. And it feels so good to be down here. And the part that was hard for me was if I know the truth, then I can't help but do something about it. And so I think that I avoided knowing the truth of what was happening in my body and what it needed for so long because I didn't feel like I had like a locus of control around the environment to be able to Yeah, to actually do that. And one of the big barriers for me is how much I love the people in my world and how hard it was to feel like I disappointed them by not taking care of them in some way. And so when I'm in touch with myself and in tune with myself and navigating as myself, I'm pulled out a little bit more from the people that I love and care about in my world and around me. But what I'm realizing is that I can just show up differently with them and it's okay. Yeah. That that loving the people of my world can just be a little different in some ways than what I thought they were, than what I thought it was, and how I needed to be, so that I can also love myself.
I'm just sitting with that. Oh,
Yeah.
I know
For
that.
me, I was gonna say as a manifester, and I'm sure you can relate, we operate so differently than the majority of the world. And there's so many ways that I have tried to operate in ways that other people wanted me to operate, in ways that people felt like they would be loved
Mm,
if I did, that people, and part of just really embracing my uniqueness is really allowing myself to operate as me and trusting that's enough. That's who I'm here to be, and that's how I'm here to show up with people. And it's okay for me to love people in my way. And it may be different than what they think it is, than what they think love is. And that's okay. I was so afraid of being abandoned by other people. And it turns out I was abandoning myself. And that was
yeah,
the worst abandonment.
the worst.
Yeah.
That one is, yeah, that is a truth actually for me, and a truth that I came really face to face with in this last year, which is that fear of abandonment has us then showing up constantly for other people. And I really recognized that in a situation that I was in, and then upon reflection, how many times I had actually done what you're speaking on, which is completely abandon myself so
Mm.
that I don't risk being abandoned. I can remember the moment that insight dropped in that exact way where it was illuminated like I had never seen it
Mhm.
before or felt it before.
Mhm.
I keep doing
Mhm.
that. God, so many
Mhm.
times.
Yeah.
And I love it
Yeah.
myself anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what a juicy
Yeah.
conversation this has been. Oh, I feel let's book like 10 more. We got a lot to
I
say.
know. I'm like, we
Podcast
just
going
began.
on.
This is the appetizer. I love it. I want more.
Ah,
I love it.
we
This is
can
so
definitely.
yummy.
Yeah, this was a great conversation. Really
Yeah.
loved chatting with you, Nova.
Ah,
Wrap the
likewise.
conversation up, I would love to just hear what's going on in your world right now in terms
Mm.
of just like showing up for your community and what offer
Ah,
and how you're stepping into
mm.
moving through whatever leadership journey is
Yes.
imminent.
I love that so much. Okay. So, goodness gracious, I have been at the back end of building a platform, a community for somatic human design people, for people who, the thing with human design is so much information out there, so much information, and it's so fun to play in. But what we really want to do in our organization, I guess, is called SomaSync. And what we're really about is the embodiment, like letting that information to drop down in the body to, we do retreats. So we have opportunities to experiment with these truths, these things that we're curious about. We provide like experimentation for the body to have experiences to learn the body's truth about these things about our design. So we do aura experimentation, we do somatic techniques, guidance, all kinds of different things at the retreats. And we really wanted to build community around that so that we can have at least an online world of people to continue to live in this with between retreats, right? So we've been building this online platform for somatic human design community. And I just got back from Scotland. I went to Scotland last month. I was there for 3 weeks, and it was, yeah, it was pivotal. Like and as I'm saying that word right now, I'm like, that is the exact word. And I get that word more than I ever have right now. It was absolutely pivotal in my switching from the medicine being isolation and solitude to the medicine being connection and togetherness. And so I'm like so excited to launch this somatic human design community. You can go to somasync.org to learn more about that, because we don't it's not launched yet, so you can't go to actually it. But yeah, we have this online community that we've been building that I am so ready to just dive in. I'm like, I just want to be with people all the time and do all the things, collaborate, like all the stuff. We have so many fun things just all the time. Fun things to do all the time with people is my life motto now. And yeah, so I've got my hands in lots of different projects, lots of different things with people. And I'm just like, I'm just going to keep going. So yeah, the best way to find out all the things that we're doing is somasync.org. We have, yeah, the website there, and I'm going to be updating upcoming stuff and calendar events and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, incredible. And I'll make sure that all of those links are available in the description here once this video goes out. So you'll have access to ways to connect with Nova. I want to ask just one last question of you before we sign off from this conversation, which has been a delight, girlfriend.
100%. All the yeses.
Oh, I can need more manifestor women in my life. I love you all, but geez, there's
Yeah.
something about
Something.
that, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why you do what you do. So obviously. So if you could leave our viewers with just like one last bit of truth or insight, you could just leave them with one last mwah,
Yeah.
it'd be
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Man, you have such great questions. I love it. You just pull all the goodies out. Mhm. Okay. People are magic, right? People, we see people being them and doing them. And there's this way that we can feel like we are here to be that. And we want to be like that too, because we can see the magic and how amazing it is and all of that. And I love being me. I love sharing all of these things about me. And I just trust whatever initiations that people get from it and whatnot. I really want people to know that they have their own unique magic, what they are here for. To be careful about even positive conditioning, right? Because I think that was the trickiest thing for me. It was really easy for me to see things that I was a no to and be like, I don't want to be that. But it was really hard for me to notice the ways that I wasn't actually here for all the things that I saw that I wanted to be, and what, like, that stuff was so hard to not aspire toward. And I think that's the biggest thing is like coming into the magic of being yourself, who you are, what you're here for. I think the biggest place to start would be all the things you don't like about yourself, learning how to love those things and how to be those things beautifully, because each of us has our unique magic. And I feel like that's where communities and the world thrives, is when people are in their magic and activated in their own juiciness. And then everybody just like connects and collects in
oh,
these ways where everybody thrives, when everybody gets to be themselves.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. This beautiful brew that we're all concocting with our magic. Ah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nova. Like I've said, this was a wonderful conversation. I really do look forward to doing this again with you. And
Yeah.
to all of our viewers, we're so
Yes.
grateful to have
Thank
you. And we'll connect
I'm
with
s-
you.
yeah. I'm so grateful to you, Sheena. So grateful for what you're doing in this world and creating and holding space for these powerful experiences for people to come share their truths, to be seen and felt, and be able to leave the impact that they're here to leave also through you being the magic of you.
Thank you.
Goodness gracious. What a
Truly.
blessing you are. Thank you for what you're doing in this world.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you all. It's sitting that juiciness.